the winter months of 1924. Deep within the Deschutes National Forest, in the mountainous and snow-covered region of Oregon, there is a lake. Quiet, frozen, and desolate. Its name is Lava Lake. But in March of that year, this tranquil lake would become the scene of a murder, where 3 men were brutally killed and dumped into the lake. And even though nearly a century has passed, the killer will still not be found. The story begins in late 1923. 3 men named Edward Nichols, Roy Wilson, and Dewey Morris. They are quiet men, known to the local community, who work in the lumber industry in the forests of Oregon. They lived in a camp they had set up near Lava Lake, hutting and cutting wood to sustain themselves through the winter. Autumn passed and winter arrived. However, in January 1924, the 3 men were reported missing. Those who knew them noticed they hadn't been seen for a long time. Their dogs were found abandoned. In their camps, there was no sign of a struggle. It was as if the 3 men had vanished into thin air. March 1924. The weather was cold and the lake was still frozen. A group of woodcutters noticed something strange on the surface of the lake, a dark shape rising up from beneath the ice. March 1924. The weather was cold and the lake was still frozen. A group of woodcutters noticed something strange on the surface of the lake, a dark shape rising up from beneath the ice. The bodies had deep wounds made with an axe. Some had their skulls crushed. This wasn't a fit of rage. It was like a planned execution. In the mid-1920s, crime scene investigation and forensic science were not as advanced as they are today. The bodies had been under the ice for weeks, so evidence was almost non-existent. Authorities found only a few clues at the scene. A few overturned items in the camp area, a broken rifle, and some missing personal belongings. The strangest thing was, the food, clothes, and dogs were still there. So this was not a robbery. It was an incident involving hatred or revenge. The local community was gripped by fear. There's a killer roaming the forest, they said. The police finally zeroed in on a name, Charles Kimsey. Kimsey had previously worked with 3 men, then suddenly disappeared. According to rumors, he was aggressive and quarrelsome. Shortly after the incident, he fled the area and was thought to have headed toward the Canadian border. However, he was never found. It was never proven whether Kimsey was really the murderer. All that remained were a few witnesses saying, "We saw a strange stranger in that area." Lava Lake has been known as the cursed lake among the local population for years. This is because hunters, campers, and forest workers who went there began to report strange occurrences. Footsteps echoing in the night, an unseen presence wandering around the camp, and silhouettes appearing on the lake's surface from time to time, as if looking down from above. None of these events were ever proven, but the fear grew. Some locals still believe that the spirits of 3 men killed on the lakeshore in 1924 wander there. Every winter when it snows, they say, Lava Lake remembers that day again. Today, the Oregon police still keep this case in their archives as an unsolved homicide. Some researchers suggest that the incident was part of organized crime, while others claim it was the result of the betrayal of a 4th man who remains hidden. Attempts were made to conduct DNA testing using modern forensic analysis, but no results could be obtained because no sample remained. Thus, the Lava Lake murders went down in history as one of America's forgotten but most chilling cases. Almost 100 years have passed, but the silence echoing in the deep waters of Lava Lake is still there. Was it someone, or was it someone they didn't know? Perhaps a disagreement, perhaps an incomprehensible secret. But one thing is certain, but Lava Lake never forgets. Detective Kenda, Dark America series. Some secrets speak even from beneath the snow.